Hello and welcome to Friday's ESPN FC Live. My name is Mark Donaldson. Normally, I would start by introducing my guests, but I'm not going to say how many guests we have because one of them's forgotten his contact lenses. So let's find out what Shaka Hislop can see. Shaka.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Shaka. Who else is here?
Quite a few. We've got LME on board. He's somewhere around. I'm sure he is. I can hear him laughing.
There you go. Mark Donaldson, Shaka Hislop, and Luis Miguel Echegaray. A lot to talk about today. Newcastle back in a cup final. That's why Shaka's got a smile on his face.
That's where we start and finish. We're not going to talk about anything else, are we? Let's hope. I hope not.
We're going to start with the Madrid Derby in La Liga. Yeah, the Madrid Derby. We're going to be looking ahead to that one, Real Madrid against Atleti, live on ESPN Plus on Saturday. We're going to examine as well the transfer window and who did well, but who didn't do so well as John Duran leaves Villa and scores within 25 minutes of his debut for his new team, whoever they are and whatever they play. We will get to that later. We're going to start in Madrid, then we will get to Newcastle. Real Madrid against Atletico Madrid. LME, I want you to set this one up, if you wouldn't mind, before we hear from Jan Oblak and Cesar Azpilicueta, the Atleti pair, about what's happened this week with Real Madrid contacting the league and the Spanish FA about their concerns with officiating.
Yeah, so as we all know, Real Madrid has always had a historical controversial relationship with just the overall officiating world of La Liga and Spanish football. Earlier this week, Madrid's board sent an open letter to the Spanish Football Federation, RFEF, and Spain's sports ministry as well. They sent it on Monday. Essentially just completely furious at the referee's handling of Madrid's defeat at Espanyol last weekend. The letter basically highlighted how the referee, Alejandro Muñiz Ruiz's failure to send off the Espanyol defender, Carlos Romero, who ended up scoring the winning goal at the end, but he wasn't sent off for that foul on Kylian Mbappe, as well as an earlier disallowed goal for Vinicius Jr. But this really was just a complaint, not just about that game, but overall about the handling of it. Madrid have repeatedly complained about refereeing standards in the league. They've asked the government to take initiative. Real Madrid Television has always used it as a propaganda network to just try and complain. Florentino Perez calls for the government to come in. So it's basically setting up to say officiating in Spain is not fair whenever Real Madrid enter the pitch.
Okay, let's find out if that got down as far as the changing room. Our good friend and colleague at ESPN FC, Rodrigo Fáez, sat down earlier this week with the goalkeeper for Atleti, Jan Oblak, and the former Chelsea defender, now at Atletico Madrid, Cesar Azpilicueta.
Jan, after so many years, you are one of the most experienced players in Atletico Madrid squad. Have you ever seen so many pressure from Real Madrid on the referees after Real Madrid's statement this week?
Honestly, I don't read and watch that much about these things because, I don't know. I don't have any opinion about that. Everyone has his opinion and can speak about that. So I think the best way is to leave the referees in peace. So I think on this, they're gonna do their job on the best level possible. In the end, that's the most important for football, not just for the teams, for everyone. Because in the end, I think it's not the referee who will decide the game or need to decide the game.
Cesar, you are a very experienced player. I don't know if Real Madrid's statement surprised you when you saw it this week.
I'm a player. I try to focus on my job, which is train hard and be ready for the game. So
I only ask you this because, I don't know if you are in the locker room, you're afraid of Real Madrid pressure on the referees here, or do you think the referees are away from that?
Well, when you step on the pitch, you believe that everybody does the best that we can to get our job done. So I don't think twice about it.
Okay, Shaka, understandably so, the players don't want to get too involved, but Atletico Madrid themselves, through their social media channels, got involved. They've done a couple of little fun graphics. Derby basic instructions, plan your week. There's 2 photos, and I want to take you to photos number 4 on part 1 and part 2. So on part 1, photo 4, once again, use your TV channel to pressure the referees, which, okay, that's fine, a little bit of humor. And then on page 2, number 4, use your army of media buddies to spread your ramblings. Now, if this comes out on a fan channel or a fanzine or anything like that, then it's funny. Is it still funny because it's Atleti?
Yeah.
Are they just saying, you know what, we're fed up of this, we're going to have a bit of fun?
Absolutely, and it's funny because it's rooted in some truth. And listen, I get it, and I understand what you're saying about if this comes out on a fan's website, that's one thing. It coming out on an official club's media channels or social media channels, it's another. But I'll be honest, Real Madrid really want to lower the bar here. They and have done so with some consistency. Now, ask any other team in Spanish football, and they would tell you Real Madrid and Barcelona get all the decisions. A few years ago, it was Real Madrid and Barcelona arguing with each other as to who got more decisions. Now, all of a sudden, Real Madrid have kind of gone out on their own limb, and forgive me if Barcelona have been saying as much. I've missed it, so I stand corrected if that's the case. But as far as I can tell, Real Madrid have made this their kind of solo battle to fight. When for most of looking at Spanish football, they're the ones who seem to be the greatest of beneficiaries. And this, for me, why it kind of hits different or hits hollow, let me say, is because of what you saw with the Ballon d'Or and Real Madrid's boycott of that ceremony. I just feel that for arguably the biggest club in world football, in my mind, the biggest club in world football, the level of pettiness you're seeing from them is unbecoming. And it begs me to wonder, what's the full motive behind this? What's the full motive to the boycott of the Ballon d'Or because Vinicius Jr. won it? When, let's be honest, Real Madrid have been the most successful team in that competition over its history. I'll probably argue that their players have won that award more than any other. Now all of a sudden you choose this time to boycott, and for me, Roger was the best player for the year, so it rang hollow. This complaint again rings hollow, and again I'm wondering what's the motivation behind it. And I just again, for the biggest club in world football, I would have thought this was beneath them. Real Madrid have lowered the bar. Everybody else are just happy to step over it.
Okay, LME, I put my journalist hat on because I found out that Cesar Sotogredo is going to be in charge of the match between Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid this weekend, live on ESPN+. So I went back this season and I saw he's handed out 2 red cards to Real Madrid players in the 2 Real Madrid games that he's handled. Ferland Mendy at the end of the Mallorca game, first match of the season, and also Vinny Jr. at Valencia in a game that Valencia led for long spells before a late winner from Jude Bellingham after Luka Modric had equalised. So, penny for the thoughts of Real Madrid when Sotogredo was announced as the referee. 2 Real Madrid games this season, and he's red-carded 2 of their players.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to watch this one, especially because it's at the Bernabeu. So you know that all the pressure is just going to be completely on the referee. And listen, I mean, this is the thing. And this is a smokescreen. But by the way, for all our young viewers, Real Madrid have done this for more than 100 years. They have done this over and over again. This is not new. It's just echoed in a larger chamber because of social media and video and just the velocity of news coming out. And this open letter is a smokescreen for what really was a game and also an overall performance throughout the season where they have struggled. And Shaka is right. The Ballon d'Or thing is another reason. Florentino Perez loves to have his own way, always. And Real Madrid are the best team in the Champions League history. They are such a successful club. They're the defending champions of La Liga. They have money left to spare. They're going through a Galactico era, so they expect everything to go their own way. And it's not always going to happen. The only angle that I might give them is because there is a criminal investigation into the Negreira case, that we already know about. Obviously, go to ESPN and read more. So there's always going to be this kind of hidden behind the doors situation when it comes to referees in Spain. But let me assure everybody, this is a Real Madrid tactic that has been going on for decades. When you're doing badly, don't blame yourself, blame something else. Because ultimately, that's what everybody's going to be paying attention to. It's like exactly, but that's
top of the table.
Yeah, but here's the thing about Real Madrid, MD. They expect perfection, always.
Yeah.
And when things don't go their way, a lot of the time, just like this letter, they will blame something else. And I'm agreeing with you. Like, what are you complaining about? Top of the table, okay, you're going to play Man City in the Champions League, but you're still controllers of your own destiny. But don't disregard this very point.
But can I just add?
Love to do this.
Sure.
Can I just add, Mark, that when LME says Real Madrid have been doing this for 100 years, he's speaking from first-hand experience. He's witnessed every single episode of it. And that being said, and while yes, I'm very critical of this latest outburst from Real Madrid, I will say the Carlos Romero challenge on Kylian Mbappe last week, it was a red card, and I really don't know how a referee doesn't see that or interpret that as a red card. On the day, I offered that because the referee played advantage, maybe he had his eyes elsewhere, so he kind of didn't appreciate the gravity of it. But there's absolutely no way that VAR should have. That being said, referees, and ever since VAR has been introduced, VAR have made mistakes. What VAR does is reduce those mistakes, and we accept that. It doesn't eradicate mistakes; it reduces them. This is football. From the time you have a human element involved, you're going to have mistakes. And as LME can, as I say, firsthand attest, Real Madrid have benefited from human error more than anybody else in Spanish football, I dare say.
By the way, Real Madrid hasn't beaten Atletico Madrid in 90 minutes at home since December 2021, Benzema and Asensio. It's a big week for them, LME, isn't it?
It's massive. I think it's the biggest week for them up to this point, because they really need something here. And, from everything that we have said, at the end of the day, you've got to represent what you've got to do on the pitch, because for all those complaints that happened against Espanyol, they had 21 shots, okay? 0 goals. They had 80% possession, 0 control. They have to do something here. At home to Atleti, who you mentioned, by the way, in the last 4, Atleti have not lost against Real Madrid. And by the way, the other component about all of this is that there's a reason why Kylian Mbappe is here. He wants titles, he wants trophies, he wants victories, especially big ones. And that has not happened against big teams this season. This is a very big week for Real Madrid. They need to make an absolute statement. The obvious issue, and MD, I'm sure you're going to talk about it, and we'll get into it, but the obvious issue for Madrid is not just what's going on with letters or whatever, is the fact they're literally so thin at the back. So when you have somebody like Antoine Griezmann and Julian Alvarez and Sorloth coming from the bench, it's going to be a worry. I mean, it's going to be a great game. I can't wait to see this. It's going to be a bloodbath. You might need 5 refs for this one. I don't know, but it's going to be a really, really good game. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, Shaq, the only issue, I suppose, team selection-wise for Atleti, Robin Lenormand is suspended, an accumulation of yellow cards. He picked up a stupid yellow last week, but Josema Jimenez will come in. So the team pretty much picks itself. Maybe Koke or Barrios is the only decision that they have to make. I've done most of their games of late. They had a lot of the ball against Leganés in the first half, couldn't score, and weren't very good in the second half, lost by 1-0. That ended their 15-game run where they'd won every single match. And then they drew it home to Villarreal. Again, they looked a little bit tired, but midweek they were good against Getafe in the Cup. What chance do you give them at the Bernabeu?
Every chance. I think Atletico Madrid have shown themselves to be a very good team. You mentioned the loss against Leganés, you mentioned the draw, but in between that, Real Madrid have again started winning games, and almost surprisingly, albeit in the Copa del Rey, scoring a lot of goals, which even in the Copa del Rey and even against lower league opposition is not something you'll be able to say about Atletico Madrid for quite some time. So while this team still has all the hallmarks of a Diego Simeone team, of being difficult to beat, at times relying on very late goals. They've also shown that they are or can be a very good footballing team. And in young Simeone, they probably have the form player in La Liga right now. I think they come into this one with a lot of expectation, expecting to get something, which you don't often go to the Bernabeu in. I think to put things in a broader context, a broader perspective, given Real Madrid's outburst, how important this game is, probably is also in the mind of Florentino Perez and the Real Madrid machinery in terms of amping up the pressure. It's a very brave referee who goes to the Bernabeu and sends Vinicius off against Atletico Madrid, or does not send whoever off for making a bad challenge from Atletico Madrid. The pressure on the referee to get not just every call right, but every call in a manner that does not come under the scathing of Real Madrid is more immense this weekend than probably any time I can think.
Yeah, there's 2 red cards for Real Madrid players from Sotogredo, the referee this season, both away from home at Mallorca and Valencia. Prediction time, Shaka, for the big one, the Madrid Derby on Saturday.
1-1. I think it's a draw. I don't think Atletico Madrid lose. I think as big games go, Real Madrid often find a way. Similarly, I don't see Real Madrid losing at home. I'm sitting on the fence.
Okay, LME?
This is really hard because Atleti, we're all talking about Madrid, biggest week. Like, they win, they're top of the table. Like, this is it for them. But they haven't won at the Bernabeu, or at least at Madrid, since February 2016. It's a long time. But no David Alaba, no Rudiger. I mean, Eder Militao continues to be out. I mean, Jesus Vallejo has played like 10 minutes. So you're going to have Raúl Asensio and Tchouaméni apparently as center backs for Real Madrid. And for Julian Alvarez and Antoine Griezmann, I'm just like, what? That's what you're giving me? I'm going for it. So I want to say a 1-0. I'm going to go rogue here. I'm going to say Atleti wins this.
That's not rogue. That's to LME's point.
Well, no, but they haven't won. But they haven't won at the Bernabeu since 2016. That's
but they beat Barcelona 2-1 away from home earlier this season.
All right, fine. I'm going against Shaka, and I'm saying 2-1.
I'm just saying. I'm saying that that's a very realistic result. I don't see that as being for Atletico winning at the Bernabeu. I don't see that as being far-fetched. Is my point? Is what I'm saying for all the reasons that you just detailed really well.
At the back is what worries me for Real Madrid. That's it.
Yeah, look, I was going to go 1-1 because 3 of the last 4 in La Liga have finished 1-1. Shaka's already taken that. So I'll go 2-2, and 22 players do not remain on the field at the end of
Definitely
the game.
not.
I think Sotogredo's going to have his hands full.
Including the ref, right, Andy?
Yeah. Well, exactly. He might do a runner at full time just to get out of the place. Here's where you can watch it if you're in North America. Our ESPN FC pregame show begins at 2:30 on Saturday.
What's it say, Shaka? Can you read that?
3 o'clock.
2 teams are playing. 2 teams are playing Sunday soon.
It's Los Blancos against the Colchoneros. Shaka's got no clue who these people in the picture are. I think Michael Laudrup he sees is one of them, and Luis Suarez on the right-hand side is another one, because that's what happens when you forget both your glasses and your contact lenses to do the show. ESPN Plus La Liga.
Let me move it a little closer. Have a look at that graphic.
Stop.